It's Monday, April 1st, 2024, and this is episode 306 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. I'm Mark Duvall.
And I'm Dr. Mike.
Well, despite this episode dropping on April 1st, this is not an April Fool's episode. So your ears are safe. We won't be lying to you any more than usual.
Yeah, I don't know how safe their ears are.
Yeah, well, okay. Safe from lies. How about that?
Okay, safe from lies. I'll go with that.
Relatively safe from lies. So, well, Dr. Mike, unbelievably, this is the first time we've had to record since our poker tournament. Seems like a year ago now. But I think another successful poker tournament. The winner was Judge Dave.
Yep, our friend Dave.
Yeah, he finished first for a $100 Amazon gift card. And also, as he's done in the past, listener Richard donated $100 to a charity of the tournament winner's choice. And Judge Dave chose Union Rescue Mission, a homeless shelter in Los Angeles. So another good cause.
Good.
Second place was CC Poker Dog, our buddy Charles. So he finished with a $50 gift card. And I'll tell you, that was quite a heads-up match, Dr. Mike.
Yes.
Sometimes when it gets down to two in our tournament, it goes relatively quickly. And these guys played some great poker.
Yes. I told you this afterwards. It was probably the best poker play I've seen. I mean, it was tight. And I mean, they were both not making any mistakes.
Yeah, it was really good. It took us into a fifth hour. So the tournament was just a little over 4 hours. But, you know, the whole final table was actually very good.
Yes,
So very entertaining. Third place was Coach Matt. So congratulations to him. He donated his $25 to Dr. Mike, your school fund. So
Great.
Thank you very much for that.
Thank you. It turns out I was talking with Coach Matt about during the tournament, and he knows the football coach here at our school quite well.
Yeah, he's got some connections. Yeah.
The football coach is actually my wife's cousin. That was just a coincidence that kind of threw me for a loop there.
Yeah, Coach Matt, he's got his own Wikipedia page. It's nice to know we have some listeners with their own Wikipedia pages. And then listener Muckleshoot Aces took you out, Dr. Mike.
Yes.
And he wanted the bounty to go to a teacher who works at your school that you thought was deserving. Did you decide on a teacher you'd be giving that donation to?
Yes, we have.
Okay, you don't have to say their name necessarily, but...
No, it's a teacher that teaches in the preschool 3-year-olds.
Oh, that's great.
She's got several kids of her own, and we thought, well, she really could use the money. Her husband was out of work just recently. Got laid off or something. And of course, as we figured, she used it for the 3-year-olds.
Oh, that's fantastic. What a great story. Oh,
yeah,
good.
She brought art supplies for the kids. Oh. These are 3-year-olds that are special needs kids.
Oh, wow. That's terrific.
There's like 8 of them, yeah. So.
Oh, very good. Well, thank you, Muckleshoot Aces.
Yes, thank you very much.
Then listener M.N. Puckster took me out, and I'll tell you, Dr. Mike, he joined our poker home game group like a half hour before the tournament started. So it wasn't just that he didn't register until a half hour before. He wasn't even part of our group. So he had to go through the process of applying for the group, and then I had to approve it, and then he had to register. So I'm thinking, you know, if he didn't make it in time, I probably would have won the tournament.
Yeah, that's what would happen.
Yeah, I got to keep that in mind next time there's a last minute.
Next time somebody wants anything. No, sorry.
That's right. I'm not going to get bid again. Nice try.
I fell for this once.
And then listener, the real FTRO, gave a $25 gift card to listener, the Cure 869, for knocking him out of the tournament. So a little side bet action going between some of the players there.
I love that. Yeah. I love side betting.
Yeah. And then usually Tim Lawson from The Better Life will offer up a bounty to whomever takes him out. But he wasn't able to play in the tournament this year. Let's hear why not.
Mike, Tim Lawson here from The Better Life. Long time listener, second time, third time caller, something like that. Hey, sorry I couldn't make the You Can Bet on That poker tournament. I think it's the first one I've missed in a number of years, but it was the better wife's birthday and, not pushing my luck on what I can and can't do gambling-wise in that realm. But I usually have a bounty up, but because I didn't play, didn't have that. I was like, well, how can I still contribute? So I decided, I don't know what the results were, but for every person that finished ahead of Dr. Mike, I will donate $1 to Dr. Mike's little school fund. For every person that finished ahead of Mark, I will donate $2 to Dr. Mike's school fund to support those kids. So, Mark, you let me know what the damage is, and we'll get that sent over to Dr. Mike and keep supporting those kids. Hopefully, I can make the next one ahead of football season. All right, love you guys. Hope to see you in Colorado.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully we'll see you there, Tim. You know what I love about that call, Dr.
Thank
Mike?
you, Tim. Yeah, I know what you love.
Yeah, it's that he knew I was going to finish higher, so he's going to have to donate a little bit more for the people ahead of me to make it worthwhile. Well, in all fairness, you did finish better than I did last tournament. But this tournament was as things should be. You finished in 62nd place. And I finished in 51st place. So there you go.
Yeah. And what does 51st place get?
I don't know what.
The same as 62nd place. Nothing.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
Nothing. Thank you, Tim. That's very, very generous.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Tim. Hey, Colorado. I was just talking to Sherry about this. In fact, I looked into flights and rooms and everything. So before the next episode, I should have everything solidified for that trip. Again, it is June 6th through the 9th. That's a Thursday through a Sunday in Black Hawk, Colorado. And I'm going to be staying in the Horseshoe, which is one of two Caesars properties there, Mike. I imagine you probably will be too, but again, we'll iron that out as the days go by.
Yes, and you're flying into
Denver. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
And then it's about 90 minutes, depending on traffic.
Drive.
Yeah.
Okay. Not too bad.
So you're going to be there, right, Dr. Mike? You and Lynn.
I am planning on it, and so is Lynn. There's no school. We're out of school then.
Yeah, good. Okay. Well, again, thanks to everybody who participated in the tournament, and we will have our next one the Sunday before the NFL season. So mark that on your calendar. All right. We got an email from Landry from Orlando. He said he's going to send this question to the boys over at Crap Vegas, too. He says he's currently on a 9 consecutive session losing streak. These aren't losing streaks where I play for a while and just end up coming up short. No, these are losing streaks where the losing starts from the first roll of the dice. We know what that's like, Dr. Mike.
Yeah, a 9's no record.
Usually play at an empty table with one buy-in, but both my wife and I take turns with the dice. Usually at least one of us will do well, but the past 9 sessions, neither of us can get anything going. What is your longest consecutive losing streak, and how does one exercise the crap demons and start winning again? Cheers, Landry. Well, Mike, I do keep pretty good records as far as my gambling goes. And I was looking last year, between April and June, I had a 14-session losing streak. And that included Biloxi. Remember, I talked about how rough Biloxi was for me gambling. So during that whole span, 14 in a row losing. Now, Mike, I know you don't keep records, but what do you think your longest losing streak is?
Days or months?
Sessions. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's amazing how long losing streaks can go. And we have talked about how even APs, professional poker players, card counters, will go on these ridiculously long losing streaks. And of course, when you're playing a negative EV game like we are, craps, those losing streaks are going to happen probably more. So,
at a greater frequency.
Yeah. Most of our play when you lived here, I was with you, Dr. Mike. Yeah, I saw you on some pretty long streaks.
Yeah, I have no idea what the longest would be, but they can get quite long. And, you'll be on this losing streak, and then all of a sudden you'll have a night where you've only lost, a couple $100 or something. And you're like, It feels like you won.
Yeah.
You're driving home. Remember how many times?
Oh, yeah.
Feels like I won tonight.
Hey, that wasn't too bad.
Yeah, only lost a couple $100.
Woo!
But we've had some winning streaks. I mean, probably never had a winning streak as long as the biggest losing streak.
No, probably not.
But
Yeah.
we've had some winning streaks like, oh my gosh, we've won, 6 times in a row or something.
Absolutely. And we probably don't need to tell you this, Landry, but eventually it'll turn around, right? Well,
Right.
eventually you'll have a winning session. There's certainly nothing that you can do other than to maybe stay away from the high house edge bets, like the center action, things like that.
Well,
But,
sometimes just a short break out of your normal routine. A lot of times you'll go back and, I won.
Right. And it's not because of the break necessarily, but
No.
sometimes your mindset is a little bit different and you might bet more intelligently. I shouldn't even use that word. But what I'm
Yeah.
saying is maybe you won't be as reckless with your betting after a break. You're not as flustered.
Well, maybe you're not chasing money because
There you go. That's what I was trying to get at. Yeah.
You forgot about the losses, so you're not chasing them. You're just like starting anew.
Yeah.
But the real reason is you're doing something wrong and you need to find what that is and change it. Now, it could be something as simple as you need to wear a brand new shirt or you need to buy a new pair of shoes and just pinpoint it and then change that and everything will turn around.
Yeah, and you just have to keep trying things. It's an empirical kind of a thing where you just got to try it. Yeah, it's good gambling advice, Dr. Mike.
Yeah, I usually make a graph.
Do you?
A graph of, this time it was my socks. And then that's the next losing streak. That's the first thing I change.
Okay, all right. So you got different things going. You got this graph with different lines representing socks, T-shirts, underwear,
T-shirts.
whether you brushed your teeth or not.
Attitude, how you felt that morning.
Yeah.
And then there's the whole horoscope thing and genealogy.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff involved.
Yeah.
Biorhythms.
Right. Regularity.
Yeah, regularity is a big one.
You might start with that one, actually, Landry.
Yeah, you might start with that one. How are things this morning? His wife will be in the kitchen or something, and out of the bathroom, she'll hear a scream, "We're going to the casino today!"
Hallelujah. All right. Well, good luck, Landry. Things are bound to turn around.
They will. I guarantee that they will.
All right, Mike, you ready to learn about a blackjack variant that you are not familiar with?
Oh, I am ready for that.
This is called Multiplier Blackjack. And I think you're going to like this. I don't know if it's going to be the kind of thing that you'd want to play, but I think you're going to like the logic behind this. All right?
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
so Multiplier Blackjack, there are actually 2 spots on the table where you make your bet on a blackjack hand. One is just a regular blackjack bet, and the other is a multiplier blackjack bet. Now, this is not a side bet. These are both bets on the blackjack hand.
Okay.
The difference is the regular blackjack bet, it's just like regular blackjack. You'll win and lose, just everything's the same as regular blackjack, right?
I think I see where this is going.
The multiplier bet, the payouts are different depending on the outcome of the hand. All right? So you ready?
Right.
Okay,
Yep.
So if you lose, right, either you busted or the dealer has a higher total than you, both bets lose, right? No difference there. If you win because your total was higher than the dealer's total, you get paid even money. Both bets, it's exactly the same.
All right.
Okay. Pushes are still pushes. Again, if you have the same total, it's just a push. If you're dealt blackjack, you get paid 3-2, hopefully 3-2. Again, on both bets, unless the dealer also has a blackjack, in which case it's a push. Okay. The difference comes when the dealer busts.
Okay.
Now, again, on the regular blackjack hand, if the dealer busts and you haven't busted yet, you're still in the hand, you get even money, it's over. And I should say this, I should have started with this, I'm sorry. These are 2 separate bets that you can make completely independently of each other. You could only bet on the blackjack hand, only
Or
bet on the
mul-
multiplier hand, can bet on
Different
both
amounts?
of them, different amounts. There's
Okay.
no requirement other than the minimum and maximum at the table.
Okay.
So you can bet either or both, whatever. Okay, what happens when the dealer busts? If the dealer busts with a 6, which is the hardest card to bust with, the multiplier blackjack bet gets paid 4-1. Okay, again, the regular blackjack is just even money, but the multiplier gets 4-1.
All right.
So now you're thinking, okay, this is pretty good. Tell me more, Mark. All right. If the dealer busts with a 7, in other words, the 7 card is what busts him,
Okay.
the multiplier bet gets paid 3-1.
Yeah.
Okay,
All
so
right,
you're
that
with
makes
me.
sense.
If the 6
Yeah.
card is the one that busts him, it's 4-1. If it's a 7, it's 3-1.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with his up card. This is the
No,
bust
this is
card.
the bust card, the card that
Right.
puts him
Yep.
over 21. Right.
Right. Okay.
If the dealer busts with an 8 or a 9, you get paid 3-2 on the multiplier bet.
An 8 or 9, 3-2. Okay, so it's like
So you
blackjack.
get, hey, this is pretty good. All right.
Yeah.
Here comes the rub.
Yeah.
If the dealer busts with a face card, you get paid half your wager.
You still get paid, but just half your wager.
Right. So it pays 1-2. So if you've got a $10 bet and the dealer busts with a face card,
Right.
you get $5.
Now that includes a 10, right?
No.
No. Okay, just the face
Card.
All
You
right.
get paid
King, queen, or jack.
1-2, right? So you get half your
Right.
bet.
All right.
If the dealer busts with a 10, not a face card, but an actual 10,
Yes.
your hand is a push.
Okay.
Okay, so that's how the house maintains its edge, right? You get this extra bonus when the dealer busts with one of these cards that are, lower, harder to bust with.
Right.
But if it's a face card, you only win half your wager, and if it's a 10, it's a push. And that's as
All
simple
right.
as it is. What do you think?
I like it.
Yeah, it's kind of clever.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice that the dealer busting on the 6 or 7 or 8, you get paid a little more.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that they bust on a face card, you still get half
You
your.
still get something at least, right?
Yeah, right. It's not like a push. And then the 10 thing, yeah, well, the house has to have some edge in there, right?
So I could see a lot of players either doing one or the other or both, right? I mean, if you
Right.
just wanted to play regular blackjack, oh, is this some weird game? Yeah, but you don't have to play the weird part of it. Oh, okay, I'll just play blackjack. Or if you're
Right.
only interested in maybe, hoping that the dealer busts with some low cards as the bust card, only play that. Or you play both, right? And then if the dealer busts with a 10, well, yeah, your multiplier bet pushes, but then your regular blackjack bet gets paid even money.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. If the limit is low enough, if it was like a $10 table,
Yeah.
that wouldn't be bad at all. Just put 10 on each, right?
Yeah.
Or-
Yeah. Now,
Uh,
where is this being played? Some California casinos and some Oklahoma casinos. That's what Wizard of Oz said. Maybe at some tribal casinos or some card rooms, maybe in California,
yeah.
right?
Right.
Where,
Could be.
it's a player banked game.
Yeah.
But,
so this hasn't caught on in Vegas.
I don't know of any place in Vegas where it's currently being played, but I would think that a casino would like this, and I think players would like it too. So I don't know, just kind of a clever little thing, especially since it's not a side bet
Right. And it's not required.
at all. Right? Not at all.
It's
no
not
requirement.
like one of these games where, if you want to stay in, you've got to bet the second,
Right? No,
whatever.
you don't have to do that. And again, you don't even have to make the regular blackjack bet if you don't want to. You can just make the multiplier bet. Or
Yeah,
vice versa, or both, or neither, because you're just walking past the table. But
I wonder all my options. You do have the option to just walk by. You don't have to play every table in the casino, Mike. Well, what if you just played the multiplier?
okay.
I wonder how that would work out for somebody.
Well, it'd work out great if you went through a streak of dealer busts with low cards, right? 9 or lower.
Yeah.
It's all timing and
So would you rather play that, or would you rather play the bust 'em blackjack.
Oh, yeah. I'm not big on a side bet like that, to be honest with you. So if you're asking me, I'd rather play this game, and I would probably put a wager on both.
Yeah.
Probably the same amount.
Yeah. See, this game, you get paid on a bust with some odds, and there's a decision every time that bust 'em bet. If the dealer doesn't bust, you just automatically lose that wager.
Oh, right. And in this case, you win even money. I mean, if you beat the dealer, you win even money on both bets. Yeah.
Right. You could still win without the dealer busting.
Yeah.
I wonder how that would work if you played two hands. You know how you set at a blackjack spot and you play the spot next to you as well?
Well, what do you mean, how would it work? I mean, what's your question?
You'd have 4 bets out there?
Well, if you want. Or you could make a regular blackjack on one hand and a multiplier on the second hand. I don't know. Yeah. There might be requirements on the table where you couldn't do that because if you're going to bet two hands, they want you to bet both spots on both hands. But again, that's going to depend on the casino and the rules and everything.
Every time you're changing it. This time I buster here and regular here. Next time, switch them. Next time I'm going to do both on both seats. And then they might make you, like in regular blackjack, where you have to bet twice as much.
Do twice as much. Or they may just say, sir, we no longer need your business.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I bet you have. All right. You're good with that, Mike? You understand everything?
I'm good. Any more questions? I understand it. I like it. All right. I hope it catches on.
All right. I thought you might like it. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first. You can bet on that.com and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. All right. That means it's voicemail time. First up is Joseph.
Hey, guys. This is Joseph from Grand Prairie, Texas, right outside of Dallas. First thing I wanted to say is sorry for the loss of your father, Mark, a while back. And Dr. Mike, I hope your dad is okay. Secondly, I waited months for that damn tournament, and it was just horrible. I had playable cards, the flop would suck, or when I would fold crappy cards, I'd make a hand. But it was fun. I just want to say thanks for putting it on, and even though I don't watch football, I'm waiting for football season because I know that's when the next tournament will be. But thanks again. Enjoy what you guys do. Take care.
All
Bye.
Right. Well, thank you, Joseph, for the kind words.
Yes, very much.
Yeah, you know, poker, right? Anybody's played poker long enough, you know that if you play poker perfectly, you can be punished for it. And people who make big mistakes can be rewarded for it. So that's just the nature of the game. And especially in a tournament like ours that is so short and with the blinds going up so quickly, you need some luck along the way.
Yeah, it's so frustrating when you think you're playing well and somebody makes some stupid decision and, sucks out on you. And you're just like, oh.
The hand that I went out with, I had ace king and I went in, I was called by king jack. So I'm loving that, right?
Right.
Well, she ended up making a straight on the river. Right. I mean, I made the right move. Maybe she did too, depending on the stack size. I don't know. But I was way ahead before the flop and still ended up losing, right? Made the right move and still lost.
Yeah, it's part of the game.
It is a skill-based game where luck is a huge factor in the short run.
Yeah. One of the kids at school was playing some kind of word game where they had to match things. You're given like 12 words and you have to make 3 sets of 4. And one of them, it had craps and it had poker. And they're asking me like, oh, Mr. Mike, what do you think? Which one goes here? And you don't know exactly what the groupings are.
Okay, I see what you're saying. It's a bunch of different words, and they're kind of grouped together by subject or topic. But they might be trying to trick you a little bit because you're thinking, oh, these are all gambling things. Oh, no, it's not that. It's things that are based on dice or okay, I got you. Yeah,
right. And, of course, I'm putting poker in there, and that was wrong. And I'm like, what? How can that be wrong? Well, it was things that are based purely on luck. So they had stuff like the lottery and poker went into another group. And I can't remember what the basis for that group was. But anyway, it was just funny because basically they were saying, well, it takes some skill to play poker.
Now, speaking of the kids at your school in poker, you said that they had a new game that they were going to tell you about. Did they finally tell you that? Can you tell us what it is?
No.
What?
Well, they had a busy week because we had a big final exam.
So you're telling me academics took precedence?
Yeah, unfortunately. I was trying to explain it to them too, that academics in this case has to take. They're like, no, let's play. I'm like, we're having a huge final tomorrow. We need to study.
All right, so next episode you're going to have this game for us.
No, well, they're off this week.
Oh, that's right, spring break.
It's
all right,
spring break, yeah. So
about a month from now.
Well, yeah, about a month from now. Because they were playing it again. And I said, well, let's see this game. And at that time, it was too late in the class. It was time to go.
Okay.
Yeah, my room is where they all try and get out of their other classes. Say they have to come in and study during study hall in my room.
All right.
And they come in and play cards.
Hopefully the other teachers aren't listening to the show.
Well, I don't think they care. I think they're happy to get them out of their room.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. All right, next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike, this is Kyle from Salt Lake. Quick trip report from my recent visit to Vegas. I did a day trip to Vegas on Sunday, March 24th. Took a 6 a.m. flight out of Salt Lake, and then took a 9 p.m. flight back. So a whirlwind day, but I met up with a couple of friends to try our luck. And first we decided to go to the Fremont Casino in downtown. We broke even at Blackjack after about an hour and a half or so. Then played craps for at least an hour and just got crushed, 0.7 outs all over the place. So then we watched the March Madness games, and none of those bets really hit, which was just adding salt to the wound at that point. So not a great gambling day, but I wanted to pass along an interesting situation that one of my friends was facing and see what you guys thought. So he was in Vegas for a couple of days before I arrived, and in that time he had lost his ID and also lost a winning March Madness parlay ticket, which was worth, I think, at least a couple $100. He took a photo of his ticket before he lost it, but he did not take a photo of his ID before he lost it. He managed to go back to the Paris casino where he placed the bet, and through the photo he was able to fill out a few forms and get the sports book to approve the ticket. I think he'll get his winnings as a check in the mail in like 90 days or something. But as for the ID, he couldn't do much in the day that we were all together because the dealers were asking for our IDs at almost all the games we were playing. So when we were finally getting ready to leave and go to the airport security, he was luckily able to breeze through that by showing his boarding pass and a couple of other items which had his name on them, like his credit cards. So just a real difficult weekend for him, obviously, but just wondering if either of you have been in a similar gambling situation where something is wrong and you immediately start to feel your stomach sink and it kind of throws off the entire day or your entire trip. I'm sure this happens all the time in a place like Vegas, but curious if you have any fond memories that stick out in particular like that. I'll be back in Vegas in June, and we'll report back again after that. But in the meantime, thanks as always. All right, see ya.
Well, it's great that he was able to get on his flight. I mean, that's the really important thing.
Yeah, that was the part that would worry me.
But even getting the sports ticket paid off, that's great too, being able to provide all of that information. Obviously, the book has to make sure that nobody else tries to cash the ticket or whatever, and that's why, they can't pay him right away. But yeah, I'm thinking back to situations like this. I can't think of anything for myself, but Mike, I can think of two involving you. There was one time where we were at Venetian and you had gone up to the cashier to get some cash, and we got back to the table and we'd been playing for a little while. And I think the pit actually asked you, hey, do you have a player's card? And you said, oh, no, here, I'll give you my driver's license. And that's when you realized they had not given your driver's license back at the cashier. You remember that?
Yeah.
That would, and again, we had flown. So that would have been a big hassle trying to get back. Luckily, you remember, that happened. You were able to go get it.
Yeah, and those were the days, though, before security was tighter than it.
You're right. I think it was before 9/11. Yeah, I think you're right. But even so.
Yeah, it still would have been a big hassle.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the other thing I can think of, this was before you were married. You were in Vegas with one of your girlfriends. And didn't she get her, tell us about that.
She got her purse stolen.
Yeah.
So we were at a craps table and it was going really well. And she had her purse in the rail.
Right, underneath where you put your drinks. And right,
like a small purse or something. And I had been winning quite a bit. And I'm pretty sure somebody must have been watching or something, thinking that maybe we cashed out at one place and we went to another place. So maybe they had followed us. I don't know. And maybe thinking that all the money went into her purse or something, but it didn't. It was all nicely tucked into my pockets. That may have been the case, or it may have just been they were trying to, get someone's purse. But when all the excitement was going on and we were winning and everything, I guess this person reached underneath and took her purse, which we noticed, a bit later. And it was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And, then we're thinking she's got no ID now because, how are we going to fly home?
Well, and that was the thing. Weren't the plane ticket, again, this was pre-9/11 and pre-internet. So you had paper tickets, right?
Right. I think the plane tickets were in there and all, stuff like that. And it was like, this is going to be a nightmare. Well, we went to security and this was at the old Imperial Palace.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Well, turns out what he did is he went into the bathroom, opens the purse to find like $12 that she had in there or something. Yeah. He took the $12 and threw the rest of the purse in the trash.
Yeah.
So they were able to go into the bathroom and the janitor found the purse.
Yeah.
And so she got everything back, her ID, our tickets, everything except, like $12 that she had in there or something.
All right. So that's a relief. Worth the $12 for the relief of getting everything
right.
back.
The guy was probably pissed. He's probably like, oh my God, they had thousands of dollars in the rail and I get $12,
I risked going to prison.
Yeah, for $12.
Crime does not pay.
Yeah, that goes to show you that, being an idiot doesn't pay. There was a good hour there of angst.
Yeah.
I mean, I was fuming just thinking, oh, great, this is going to be a nightmare.
Yeah. Those are the only two things that I can really think of, but it is a panicky feeling.
It's like when you're younger and you have this reoccurring dream that you've gone to school like whathout your pants on or something.
Yeah. I still have that dream, Mike. You don't have to be younger to have that dream. I'm still going to school naked.
But the worst thing about that is you wake up and you realize it was just a dream, but you still feel kind of uneasy.
It takes a while to recover from a dream like that. Yeah, even in your waking moments.
The first few hours you're awake, you're like, oh, that was terrible.
All right, next up is Frank.
Hi, Mark. Hi, Dr. Mike. It's Frank from the SF Bay area. I hope you guys are doing well. So I recently went on a trip to Grayton Resort and Casino in Rohnert Park, California, which is really the only major Class 3, quote-unquote, Vegas-style casino in the San Francisco Bay Area. There is the San Pablo Lytton Casino in San Pablo, but they're all Class 2 games, and they got their tables a few years ago after COVID. But here, Grayton's got, all tables, all the Class 3 slots, all that jazz. And I noticed a couple of interesting things. They added a roll-to-win craps table, which I thought was pretty cool. And of course, it follows the same guidelines for California, the cards determining the outcome of the dice. But one interesting thing I noticed was that they also have one of those shoot to win consoles, with the bubble in the middle. And as I was playing, it got me thinking, how exactly does this get around the law in California that dice can't control the outcome? Because it looks like dice are controlling the outcome on these things. Maybe I'm out of the loop about something. Maybe you guys can help me on that. You guys seem to be experts. I mean, I'm not complaining about it. I went in with $100 and came out up 200, so that's works for me. but maybe you guys can help me with that little question because it's starting to make my head hurt. You guys have a great show. I listen all the time. Keep up the good work. I hope to talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Great question, Frank. Why is it that a roll-to-win table, which again is that hybrid table where you're actually rolling dice and there's a dealer, but you're making all your wagers on a console, why in California do those games still have to be based on cards? They've got cards out there, the dice map to cards. Whereas just a few feet over, there's a shoot-to-win machine that's clearly rolling dice, and that determines the outcome of the roll. Great question. And we're not lawyers. And I'm sure if this were taken to court, who knows what they would decide. But here's the thing. The law in California says that all table games have to be card-based. Okay? So apparently the law or the casinos or whoever consider Roll to Win a table game because you are rolling dice and there's a physical dealer there. Whereas a Shoot to Win game is a machine. It's completely a machine. Yes, there are physical dice that are being rolled, but it's a machine. So apparently under the law, that falls under the umbrella of slot machines. So that's how they get away with it. That's our explanation. Dr. Mike?
Yeah, I think that the casinos are realizing that they can push things a certain way and nobody's really going to get too riled up about it.
Yeah, like we talked about last time about Hamul, where they're putting, ace 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in order in the numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares at the craps table. Yeah, they're pushing it and they're getting away with it.
Yeah, because, who's going to go to complain about that? I mean, I shouldn't say that because I know the world and I know people. There's going to be somebody who launch a lawsuit against it or something. But it's like, really, is that what we want to spend our time enforcing?
When card-based craps and roulette first started appearing in California casinos, there were some cases of the sheriff department coming out and shutting it down. That hasn't happened in a long time. These games are pretty well established in the casinos now. So I don't think it's worth the sheriff's department, the prosecutors, anybody to go in and try to make a case about this. So, of course, the casinos are going to push it to as close as a real roulette or craps game as they can.
And let's be frank about this. The casinos are good for the economy in the areas they're in.
Sure, money.
There's money moving around. There's people getting jobs. A lot of them do a lot of charity work. And so I don't know that you want to close them down,
Yeah.
especially for a stupid reason like that.
Yes. Yep.
Now, if they were letting minors in or serving alcohol or...
Sure, yeah. I mean, specifically...
Those are reasons.
Right, yeah. Real reasons, quote unquote.
Real reasons, But this, because they line the cards up ahead of time, I don't think that's a reason.
Yeah, that's silly. Yeah. All right. Last call.
Hey guys, it's Bobby from New Jersey, first-time caller. Loved the podcast and thought I'd share a story with you guys from way back. I took a friend to Vegas many years ago who had never gambled before, and being a degenerate gambler that I am, I had to take advantage of a virgin shooter and brought him downtown to the Horseshoe. Back then, from what I remember, there was no minimum and no maximums posted on the craps table, so we walked up to a quiet table late one night, and I announced that my friend was a virgin shooter. Upon hearing that announcement, a gentleman stepped up to the table next to me with a handful of chocolates. My friend bought in for $20, I bought in for a couple of $100, and everybody put a bet down. First roll by the Virgin was a 3. Mr. Chocolate seemed quite upset. We all placed another bet down, next roll was craps. More grumblings from Mr. Chocolate, and then finally my friend established his point. We all took odds along with the man next to me, and he covered a couple of numbers. Next roll, of course, was a 7. Mr. Chocolate seemed pretty furious and verbalized his dissatisfaction with my friend. I then grabbed the dice and proceeded to throw craps. As irate as he was with my shooting, he stuck around, and we all placed bets again, and I established a point. He covered a couple of numbers, we laid our odds, and bingo, I 7'd out. I got berated quite severely. My friend suggested we head to the restaurant and grab a bite to eat. So we did. As we walked to the restaurant, he didn't understand why the guy was so pissed off at us. I then explained to him that those brown chips were $5,000 each, and my friend was beside himself. Told him not to take it personally. Once we finished our meal, we asked for the check, and the waitress told us it was on the house, and pointed down to the other end of the restaurant and said Mr. Binion took care of it. I thought that was pretty cool, although the meal was the $1.95 prime rib special. We walked over to his table, and I think he was sitting with Amarillo Slim and one other fellow. We thanked him, and my friend suggested that perhaps he should have bought the meal for Mr. Chocolate. Benny chuckled and said, "Don't worry about him. One man's dollar is another man's 100. Since that day, I've never been intimidated playing with high rollers. Any thoughts on the subject? Thanks, and I love the podcast."
Oh, what a great story, huh?
That's a good story, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And again, chocolates, that's the nickname for $5,000 chips because they are brown. I'm so glad that we were able to experience the Horseshoe downtown.
Yes.
In those days, when Benny Binion was still alive. Now, again, he was a mobster. He wasn't the greatest guy. But he was a gambler's friend. He
Right.
loved gambling, and he liked giving people the option to make a wager regardless of the amount. Remember they had $1 tables, Mike, 100 times odds?
100 times odds.
And this was back
I won
when
a bunch on none of those.
I remember.
$1, $100 odds.
This was
tables,
back when every other casino in Las Vegas only had double odds, right?
Right.
And, here it was downtown 100 times odds. But yeah, great story.
The thing about Benny Binion is he wasn't a corporation. I mean, he was the owner and he was a gambler. So he would take any bet, right?
Yeah.
Because he knew he had an edge.
Yeah.
Nowadays, these places are owned by big corporations and they're not gamblers. They want bottom line. They want wins.
Well, that's what we're talking about, where every part of a resort needs to make money. Right. And here,
every single part.
Bobby's talking
money.
about this story, the $1.95 prime rib dinner. Yeah, that's the way it used to be, right? Lost leaders, buffets, things like that, because they wanted them back at the tables. Here, I don't want to sound like a couple of old men talking about the good old days. I'm just saying I'm glad we were able to experience it when it was going on.
Yeah, and that $1.99 steak dinner it wasn't a bad dinner.
No, right. I mean, it wasn't. It wasn't your best prime rib, but
it was pretty good, though.
Yeah, I ate there a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, he was saying that he's never intimidated anymore at a table if there's a high roller, and it got me thinking. I don't know if I'm intimidated, but if I do see a guy at the table, especially if it's somebody who comes up while we're playing with way more money than we're playing with. I don't know if I'm intimidated, but I do have this prejudice. I'm thinking, okay, this guy's going to be angry. This guy's just going to be a jerk and just be unpleasant the whole time. And I shouldn't be that way. That's unfair, because I remember in particular, Mike, we were at Bellagio once where we had.
Yep, I know. I was just going to say that.
Right. Where that guy came up with tons of chips. And I was like, oh. He turned out to be the nicest guy.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a pleasure playing with him. So I don't think I'm intimidated by the amount of money. I'm just thinking, I hope this guy's a nice guy.
Right. Well, for me, when there's somebody who's playing with some large amount of money on a table, I don't feel nervous or intimidated at all. I feel more anxious if they're not winning. I feel like, oh God, this guy really needs to win.
Okay, right. So it's not
which I probably shouldn't, because like Benny said, he's got the money, right?
Yeah, right. Okay, so it's not intimidation isn't the word you would use, but anxiety.
Anxiety, yeah. I feel, because I want him to win with that kind of money.
Yeah, you're rooting for him.
I'd much rather see this guy come with a ton of money and leave with a ton more than, come and just get wiped out. And I remember that one story where it was just Lynn and I on a table, and this guy came up and he bought in for like 100,000, and 2 shooters later, me and her, he was out and he had to buy in for another 100,000. And Lynn felt so bad. Oh my God. We just cost that guy. And like, obviously he's, his second buy-in's another 100,000. He's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some recurring donations. Brian and Sarah, from Josh, from the boys over at Crap Vegas, and from the International Brotherhood of Gobbling Donkeys. Always love saying their name. Thank you very much for those recurring donations. We also got a donation from listener Trevor. He says, a karma donation from a new listener. Well, welcome, Trevor. Glad you found our show. And finally, a donation from Jacob. Pass line bet for each of you. On the road for work, and I look forward to your podcast so much because the time melts away chuckling along with you guys. Thanks for all you do. And then he says, what are your thoughts on the song Paper Rain by Andrew McMahon? And Mike, I had you listen to this song before we recorded here. I found out about this song several years ago, and I tweeted about it. And one of the responses I got from somebody is, you shouldn't be glorifying desperate gambling or romanticizing problem gambling. And I don't think that really is what this song is about. And if you actually
didn't get that feeling
if you
at
read
all.
Andrew McMahon, what he was doing, basically the song is about somebody who is in so much debt and so desperate that he feels the only thing he can do is gamble, make like some final bet. at the table to try to recoup. Now, yeah, that is kind of depressing, and we're certainly not saying that that is what you should do if you find yourself in a lot of debt, is resort to gambling. But when he's talking about this song, he says that he has always been fascinated by the underdog and was also fascinated by what goes through somebody's mind when they are desperate like that.
Yeah.
And if you listen to the song, it's definitely about gambling. It's about going to Las Vegas, and it's about playing craps. I mean, some of the lyrics are like stack on the line and a stack behind. You know, that's a pass line bet and odds.
Yeah.
He's talking about betting on the 4 and betting on the 8.
Looking for a 4 and an 8.
Yeah, And the title, Paper Rain, probably means raining money. You're doing so well that it's raining money.
Well, and at the very end of the video of the song, he's driving away and $1 flies out.
So it seems like he's one. It's interesting because the video is actually a little different from the song, because the song is clearly this guy goes to Vegas and he's making bet. In the video, it's a son of probably a teenager who sees that his parents are in a lot of debt, and he ends up pawning his mother's jewelry and some valuable stamps that they have to get money to go to an underground craps game and try to win. And yeah, the implication, like you said at the end, is that some money falls down on the ground, is that he probably won. And, that's the Paper Rain. So I think it's a great song.
He had so much money.
When I was listening to it again here in the apartment, Sherry could hear it and she said, "Oh, send me the name of that song." She hadn't even really heard the lyrics. She just liked, the melody and the way it sounded and everything. So I would say for me...
Well, that's what Lynn said.
Yeah.
She wasn't really paying attention to the words, but she said, "Oh, that's got a nice melody. I like it."
Yeah. So again, Paper Rain by Andrew McMahon in the Wilderness is the full artist name there. So thanks for that question, Jacob, and thank you for the donation. Hey, at the top of our webpage, you'll find a link to our store where you can buy You Can Bet on That t-shirts. Also, you can find a list of gambling-related shows coming up on American television at youcanbetonThat.com/TV-listings. And we've got a list of gambling-related movies at youcanbetonThat.com/movies. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. We're also on Twitter at You Can Bet on That, and on Facebook at facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. Dr. Mike, I was thinking, I can't believe this. At least you and I together as a team, we did not enter any pools for March Madness.
No, I was telling Lynn that the other night. I entered one at school.
Yeah.
One of the teachers, and there's like 7 of us in it.
Right.
And it was like $5, winner take all kind of thing. And that was it.
Yeah, I'll take the blame for it. I kind of dropped the ball. Suddenly, it was that Thursday and the games were starting. It's like, oh no. And I'm looking at all these emails that I missed and all this stuff. So, I mean, we have made some bets on individual games going through the tournament. But yeah, nothing for the whole thing. So, I mean, I'm still enjoying the tournament as always. But
yes, I'm watching the tournament and the Padre game as we talk.
Oh, there you go. Very good.
I had them both on and talking and watching the game here. I was kind of hoping UConn might somehow lose this game just because I like the underdogs.
Yeah, I know. They're so
looks
good.
Like they're pulling away now.
Yeah,
they're up by 15.
All right. Yeah. Well, that's all I've got for March Madness, Mike. Do you have anything else for March Madness or any other topic?
No, I picked San Diego State to upset UConn, so I'm out of the $35 pool.
Okay. Well, it worked for you last year.
Yep, it did work for me last year. I thought, well, push my luck.
Yeah.
But anyway, I enjoy the games. I've watched a bit of every game so far.
Yeah, I've always got it on in the background at least. I'm flipping between channels.
Yeah,
so.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm doing. I'm happy baseball season is here.
Oh, yeah, it's a nice feeling.
It's so nice to have a game every night to come home to watch.
Yep.
Even if it's not the Padres, I can flip on one or the other because I got the MLB thing. So it's just fun to watch. And also, I wanted to, before we go, say thanks to everybody who donates money for the kids at school or for anything, because it's that kind of person that keeps the world kind of, on track.
Yeah, it's well said.
Yeah, without you guys, I don't know what would happen in this world.
All right, well, we will talk to you in a couple weeks. Thanks for listening.
Good night.
Oh, Adam, the installation guys called. They can meet you at 9 tomorrow.
Okay, great.
Oh, no. That's not going to work. We need to buy my lottery tickets at 9. That's my lucky time.
How is it lucky if you've never won?
Every time I don't win, I'm building up my luck. That's how it works.